Hi, and welcome to my Pedagogical Portfolio, a presentation by Katie Waugh, aka me. Here's a disclaimer. This portfolio is a representation of all that I've learned in classroom management this semester and a reflection of my goals and beliefs concerning the topics that were discussed. For week 1, we focused on high expectations. I chose to use my bulletin board that I created for this class as my artifact. In the Article 50, beginning of the school year procedures for a stress-free classroom, it outlines the importance of procedures and organization in student engagement and learning. It says that it leads to engagement and it leads to learning. So this is why you start off on the right foot, introducing yourself and setting out guidelines for the years with expectations and consequence systems as well. So this is exactly what I did here with my bulletin board. I also would like to focus on the fact that my bulletin board is overwhelmingly positive, and I did this on purpose. In her video, Every Kid Needs a Champion by Rita Pearson, there's a lot of mention on how much of an effect positivity has on a child. Whether she was explaining how she gave a +2 and a smiley face to a child instead of a -18 because she didn't want to suck all the life out of him on a test, or the fact that every kid deserves an adult that will never give up on them, Rita Pearson hammers home how important positivity is in affecting a child positively. This is what I'm trying to do with my bulletin board. It's why I don't say rules. It's why I have consequences both positive and negative instead of just negative. And I want to be that person that the students can come to if they need help. For week 2, focus on learning, I chose Genius Hour. Here's a link to the article that I found that explained what it was. In all truth, I learned what Genius Hour was in my practicum placement. My AT gives students 1 to 2 hours a week to develop and work on a research assignment that they proposed and designed and came up with on their own, and then they're going to present them in the last week of December. I'm really excited for this. What's most exciting about this project is the amount of differentiation it includes because they're allowed to come up with their own topics. It also improves student engagement tenfold. These students are so excited by what they're learning, and my AT has actually noticed that the students have become more engaged in other class subjects as well. In the article, Golden Rules for Engaging Students in Learning Activities, there's 6 golden rules. This activity hits 4 of them. First of all, you got to make it meaningful, and it needs to relate to their lives. Obviously, this relates to their lives. I have one student that's working on a presentation about Lego because he's loved Lego since he was like 3. Second rule is foster a sense of competence. Make students demonstrate understanding throughout the activity. Students do this also through blogs. They submit a blog every week that they do their work, outlining their process, any problems that they've come into, any questions they need to answer. The third rule is provide autonomy support, giving students the time they need to understand and absorb an activity by themselves and welcoming their own ideas. And the fourth rule is promote mastery orientations, students learning something because they want to, not because they have to. These rules are obviously put in place with this kind of project. I've seen a huge range of projects. There's a student working on the history of Coca-Cola advertisements since the 1920s. There's a student working on the effect of brain dominance in psychology. There's a student learning how to juggle, and there's a student learning magic tricks. This is all in a grade 6-7 classroom. It's hugely impressive. For week 3, I chose a video, a TED Talk, called The Secret Weapon, How to Fix a Broken School, Lead Fearlessly and Love Hard. It was given by Linda Clyett-Wayman. What is this video about? Well, this video could have been put anywhere. It could be put on focus on high expectations because Wayman talked about expecting nothing but the best from her students, seeing their potential when others did not, and reminding them of her non-negotiable expectations every day. It could be put in focus on leadership because this is about how she led the school along with the other staff members to improvement. It could be in focus on collaboration because the students and teachers work together to improve the school. It could be focused on the third teacher because one of the ways that the school was improved was through the environment. They unlocked doors that were locked by chains. They let in natural light. They got new equipment. It could also be put in not taking behavior personally because Clyett Wayman made it absolutely clear that there was always a reason why students had poor attendance levels or made bad choices. They weren't bad students. The focus I chose was on knowing your students, and that's because I thought that that was the most moving part of this speech. Towards the end of the video, Quiet Wayman talks about how she's pushing her students to be the best that they can be and to rise above poverty. She says she can't do this unless she takes the time to get to know them and make them feel loved. So she did things like sing happy birthday even though she can't sing, take lunchroom duty, and hold monthly town hall meetings with students where they can voice their concerns and questions openly and get an open and honest response from staff members. This focus on knowing your students in the classroom is clearly evident in this video. The article that we read for that week, A 4-Part System for Getting to Know Your Students, talks about the importance of building solid relationships with your students and how it's arguably the most important thing you can do to be an effective teacher. It makes learning easier, but it also makes classroom management easier, and in this case, managing the entire school. Also, as a side note, Rita Pearson did say that kids don't learn from people they don't like. Another part of this article talks about how you need to do regular checkups with your students to see how they're doing, how it's going. Is there anything they need to see more of? And I like this because Quiet Wayman uses this in her school through her town hall system. For focus on not taking behavior personally, I chose a blog called 5 Ways to Quit Taking It Personally. It's about not taking student achievement issues, student behavior, parent behavior, coworker interactions personally. For student achievement, you should be happy to know that you tried your best, no matter what the outcome is. For parents and coworkers, there might be something else going on. As long as you stay calm and confident and positive, you'll be okay. The most important, though, is about student behavior. It says in the article that students that misbehave aren't necessarily acting out on you. They may be reacting to trouble at home, trouble with peers, or some deeper personal issues. This is what we discussed in class. We can't be reactive as educators. It's not us. There are a number of reasons why they're acting out. They could be hungry, they could be tired, they could be sad, or they could just be having a bad day. For week 5, focus on the third teacher, I chose a video called Flexible Classrooms Providing the Learning Environment That Kids Need. I chose this video in particular because we read an article calling Making Your Environment the Third Teacher. And it talks about the need to create a flexible environment that's responsible to the need for children and teachers to construct knowledge together, but also to be conscious of the values that we're communicating through our environments and how we want children to experience their time in our programs. This type of environment that is detailed in this video transmits one of the most important aspects, I think, of education. It's that people learn differently and it's completely normal and a good thing. Some kids need to move, some need a comfier spot, some need some technological help, some need learning centers, some need to work in groups, some need to work alone. This is why I chose this specific video because it displays this so beautifully with the different classroom arrangements. There's also other values though that are transmitted, like positivity trumps negativity. You can see that in the bright colors and the words of encouragement on walls, and that literacy and reading are important because of the text-rich environment. This has visuals that help students to learn vocabulary as well. For focus on collaboration, I chose a picture that I took from a blog called Well Michelle. She's a teacher, and this is the classroom expectations that the students and the teacher came up with together. I really like this. My favorite quotes are, be confident and ask for help when needed, and work well and believe in yourself. I think that's overwhelmingly positive, and I love it. In the article, A Classroom Management Plan for Elementary School Teachers, we read, it was talking about different classroom management strategies that can be used to establish a feeling of respect in the classroom, so set up an organization, rules and procedures, and that sort of thing. We also watched a video called Tribes Agreement for Learning Together, which was about essentially how students work together effectively and respectively. So I combined these ideas for this artifact. My artifact represents collaboration between the teacher and the students. The students and the teacher work together to establish a classroom expectation board. And I believe that when teachers and students collaborate together, the outcome is usually much more meaningful and beneficial for all parties involved. For focus on leadership, I chose an article that's called What Makes Effective Teaching Teams Tick. It's about the importance of being a team. In the article it says, if a team is focused on its goals, Then everyone has a single language and a single focus, which allows the goals to be accomplished. Our teams work together to see all students as our students rather than my students and your students. This hugely helps student achievement. Basically, it talks about different functions of teams in the school. So there's staff and principals working together in different teams for different purposes, across grades, across divisions, for certain focuses like student engagement. I chose this for leadership because I feel that in order to properly lead a school, it is not just the principal that's leading and it's not just the teachers. It's a team of the school staff. And I decided this because when we were watching the video on being wrong by Catherine Schultz, it talks about how we are often afraid to be wrong and are too close-minded as a result of this because we have this inherent need to be right. And that's a dangerous, dangerous quality to have in someone who's going to lead something. So this is why the whole staff needs to work together as a community. They can discuss and collaborate to find the best ideas and pathways for the school and the students. This is a way to check other members of the staff if they are stuck in a sense of rightness and opens them up to different perspectives, which are helpful when trying to find the best possible way to get the best possible outcome. For focus on communication, I chose the app Seesaw. We learned about it in class, but I also see it in use every day in my practicum placement. My teacher posts what they're doing in math. Next week, my teacher posts videos of what the students have done, collages of pictures of them doing their reading buddies. It's really exciting. The reason why I chose this was because our focus for the focus on communication was in parent engagement. We read an article called Capacity Building Series K-12 Parent Engagement, and it basically talked about the importance of parent engagement in their children's learning because it increases their success. And then it talks about different things that you should try with parent engagement, like trying to identify and remove barriers and design parent engagement activities with busy family schedules in mind. And I think that that's what this artifact does because it's very, very visual, so language barriers might not be an issue, and also it's posted in real time. So even if parents are busy and on the go, they just have to check their phone and their iPad and they can see it right there. Or if they don't have time, it's archived like in Facebook so they can scroll up and look later. For Artifact 9, Focus on Reflection, I decided that this week and the readings were all about reflecting and taking a step back and looking at the practice that you've been using and your perspectives and trying to better them so that you can better student experience. This is exactly what I decided to focus on for this quote. When I started my practicum, I gave out a little handout to my students asking them questions. One of these questions was, what is the one most important thing you want me to know? One of my students answered, explique quand tu donnes les choses à nous, or explain when you give us things. It's funny because I was so proud of this warm-up activity. I had done a game and I thought it went really well, but I handed out the sheet without explaining anything. I didn't go through the questions and I didn't ask questions. I just said fill out the sheet. And so when I see this quote, obviously I know that for next time I need to explain everything that I do. Here are my references for my artifacts. If you wish to see references to classroom documents, it'll be in the syllabus. If you need more, let me know. I hope you had a good time and good night.